Mrs. Hauser here with Lesson 5 of Unit 1, Circles, Part 2. So what do you need to know? You need to know how to write the equation of a circle, how to graph a circle, and how to determine what points are on the circle. So let's take a look at that equation of the circle. What's the equation of the circle and how do I use it? Well, your equation of your circle is right here. How do you use that? Well, on the formula sheet, they kind of outline this for you. So they give you this HK and R. HK is the center of the circle, and R is the radius. What I do every single time I approach one of these problems, I actually write out that information. So let's write out our equation of our circle for this first example. X minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. And then what I like to do is above the center of my circle, write h comma k. And I can see easily that h is 2, so x minus 2 squared plus k is negative 8, y minus negative 8 squared is equal to r, which is 9 squared. I simplify that down, x minus 2 squared plus y, subtracting a negative is the same as adding, plus 8 squared is equal to 81. And that's where I stop. That is my equation of the circle. I am all done. That would be my answer. Let's try it for another one. I write out that equation of the circle once more. X minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. I'm going to put h comma k above that point, and then I'm going to substitute in. So I'm going to get x minus h, which is 0, squared, plus y minus k, which is 0, squared, is equal to r, which is the square root of 5, squared. X minus 0 is just x, squared. Y minus 0 is just y, squared, equals the square root of 5 is 5. And that's the equation of my circle, and I'm done. To look at another example, sometimes they'll give us the center and a point. So I will always use my center first, which I know is h comma k, and then I'll go ahead and I will write out my equation of a circle. X minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. I'll substitute in x minus h, which is 7, squared, plus y minus k, which is negative 2, squared, is equal to r squared. I don't see anything to substitute in for r. Then I'll write x minus 7 squared plus y plus 2 squared is equal to r squared. So now I have to find that radius. That's the piece that's missing. But I know I have the center and I know I have a point on the circle. So let's graph those. So we'll graph 7, negative 2. And we'll graph 1, negative 6. And I know that this is a point on my circle, and I know that this is the center. And I'm going to connect those. That connecting line would make a radius. Once I know I have a radius, I can find the length of that radius by using the Pythagorean theorem. So this side is 4, and this side is 6, so I'm going to substitute those in. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. 4 squared plus 6 squared is equal to my radius squared. 4 squared is 16. 6 squared is 36. And if I add those together, I get 52 is equal to r squared. I'll take the square root of each side, and I will get that r is equal to the square root of 52. So now I can substitute that into my problem up here. X minus 7 squared plus y plus 2 squared is equal to the square root of 52 squared. And I'll get x minus 7 squared plus y plus 2 squared is equal to 52. And that's all I have to do to complete this problem. Now in some instances, that point will be at the origin. So let's graph that point. And draw in our radius. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and graph and write out that equation of the circle and substitute in what I can substitute in. Okay, so I put in my h and my k. And then I'm going to proceed and try to find my radius. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. I have 6 squared plus 5 squared. It would be equal to my radius squared. So I get 36, and 25 is equal to r squared. And in this case, I'll get that 61 is equal to r squared. I'll take the square root of each side, and I'll get that r is equal to the square root of 61. So I'll substitute that in. X minus 6 squared plus y minus 5 squared equals the square root of 61 squared. And then I'll just simplify that down. And I'll get x minus 6 squared plus y minus 5 squared is equal to 61. Now in this case, I don't have the center of the circle. I actually have to find it. The way I find the center of a circle when I'm given a circle with the endpoints of the diameter is to find the midpoint of the diameter. That would give me the center of the circle. So I'll plug these values into the midpoint formula. And I'll get negative 2 plus 6 over 2, comma 3 plus negative 7 over 2. And I'll get 4 over 2 and negative 4 over 2, which simplifies down to 2 comma negative 2. And that would be my center. So I'm going to start by substituting those in to my equation of the circle. So I'll get x minus 2 squared plus y minus negative 2 squared equals r squared. I'll get x minus 2 squared plus y plus 2 squared equals r squared. Now I have to solve for r. So let's graph our 2, negative 2, which is our center, and then we'll graph another point, maybe negative 2, 3 is a point on that circle. And then we can find the radius. So we'll have 5 over here and 4 over here, and then we'll substitute those into the Pythagorean theorem to find the radius. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. In our case, 4 squared plus 5 squared is equal to r squared. 16 plus 25 equals r squared, which will give me 41 equals r squared. I'll take the square root of each side, and I'll get that the radius is equal to the square root of 41. So now I'll substitute that value in. And I'll simplify the entire equation down. And I'll get x minus 2 squared plus y plus 2 squared is equal to 41. All right. So now how do you graph a circle? The way I graph a circle is I have to find the center of that circle. So I write out my equation of a circle underneath. And then what I like to do is match up. I have x plus and x minus and two y minuses. I know that my plus and my minus do not match up, so I would need to convert this to x minus negative 4. That means that h is equal to negative 4. Here my y minuses do match up, so I can just simply write k is equal to 1. And then I know this last piece I should have written r squared, my apologies. I get that r squared is equal to 36, and I take the square root of each side and I just solve and get r is equal to 6. So now I can say that the center of my circle is located at negative 4, 1, and then I have a radius of 6. So what I'll do is I will graph negative 4, 1, and then I'll graph points out from that with a radius of 6. So I'll count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll count down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll count to the left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I'll count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Once that's done, I can choose to try to draw a nice circle around, but I usually like to use my compass because I know I'll get a perfect circle. And that's it. Now that you know how to graph a circle, sometimes you'll be asked which points are on the circle. So let's start by graphing this circle that we have here. And again, I always write my equation of a circle underneath. I'll see that my h is 1, but my k is negative 3. And I'll solve for my r. Okay, so the center of my circle will be located at 1, negative 3, with a radius of 5. So now what I'll do is I'll graph 1, negative 3, and I'll take my tool. Actually, I'll count out 5 in each direction. And then I'll take my compass, and I'll use that so that I can make a perfect circle all the way around. Then I'll start by graphing each of these points. So I'll work with 1, negative 3. That puts me right at the center. That is not on my circle. I'll look at negative 1, 3. That's right up over here. That's outside of my circle. I'll look at the point 4, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. That looks pretty good, so I'm going to put a little question mark there. And I'll look at 1, negative 8. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's one of the initial points I graphed, so I know that will be on my circle. I'll look at 2, 4. That is certainly outside of my circle. And I'll look at 7, negative 3. and that's certainly outside of my circle. So I put a question mark down next to 4, 1, because it appears that it could be on my circle, but I want to double check. The way that I double check is by using my equation of the circle, and what I'll notice is that I have an x and a y value, and so does this equation. So what I'll do is I'll substitute in that x and y into my equation to see if it will hold. And I'll get that 4 minus 1 is 3 squared, plus 1 plus 3 is 4 squared, equals 25. And then I will solve that. 9 plus 16 equals 25. And when I add those two pieces together, I certainly do get that 25 is equal to 25. So this point is on my circle. I found 2 points on my circle. If I got something like 10 equals 25, I'd mark that wrong, and I'd know that point is not on my circle, that it is not on my circle. All right, well, that's all I have for you right now. If you have any questions on anything I've gone over in this video or anything else, feel free to come see me. Good luck.